Well, hello there, and welcome back to Joygasm, where we chat about video games, movies, and pop culture. I'm Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360, and of course, with me is my subatomic sibling Steve, Xbox Live Stevavitch, as we shrink into episode 79 on this July 7th, 2018. It has been a fun week, I must say. It went by pretty quickly here, and I, for one, I'm looking forward to discussing our topic of the day today, which is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, which my bodacious bro and I saw last night. But I thought we could just do a little bit of the old how you doing beforehand. So, Steve, how you doing?
A little bit of how's your father?
Yeah, oh my. Don't go into the J Arthur.
Russ, I hate to tell you this, but it's dawned on me that I forgot to put on deodorant.
Oh, my.
So it's good you have a little bit cool in here, or else it might get rather saucy.
I have not noticed
Yet.
any kind of pungent smells.
Russ, it's because my armpits smell like roses.
Oh, all this time I thought they smelled like tulips.
Right, I naturally smell like fern gullies, you know?
Oh, I tell you, with the humidity in Texas, I would say there are many areas that could grow like fern gullies, probably in places you wouldn't want them to grow.
Right. Right-ho.
I must say that it was quite the good old time playing Sea of Thieves with you earlier this week. I believe it was on July 4th, which, by the way, a happy belated 4th of July to all of our American listeners out there. Happy Independence Day. July 4th came and went. Did you have a good time on July 4th?
I did have a great time at my home, sweet home of America. We actually got to see some fireworks from the driveway, so a lot of the neighbors were setting stuff off, and the local show was good, so we didn't have to commute anywhere, wait in traffic, rub elbows with a bunch of randos.
I must say that it's pretty impressive to have 4th of July celebrated in the great state of Texas. You and I being from California originally, we would see people putting fireworks and that sort of thing off in their driveways or their street, little fountain fireworks stuff. But man, they take it seriously out here in Texas, man. It's amazing how you'll be driving by and there are just bottle rockets going. I mean, it's literally like almost at the same level as what we would see in Lucchese Park back in Petaluma.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to they're just neighbors and they love their fireworks and they love themselves some patriotic goodness.
You know what people don't do out here though? They don't pack their Piccolo Pete's, meaning when you take the stand off the Whistling Pete, you duct tape it, you hammer it a couple times, and you duct tape it more, and you keep on hammering that thing. So when you set it off, it means it blows up at the end. Or if you're really, really bad, you take 3 of them, do the same thing, and then tie the wicks together so it goes boom at the end. No one does that out here, but that's a good thing. Like that. So many people do it back there. You go up, that's another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what's funny too is, of course, where we live, apparently it is against the law to actually have fireworks, but that apparently didn't stop anybody because everybody had fireworks that they were playing with. And luckily there were no fires or anything, which was good. But no, it was a lot of fun. I know that for us, we ended up going to the local parade, and that's always fun to take the little one too. And she is at the age where she just doesn't like a lot of loud noises. And so, of course, July 4th is oftentimes filled with a lot of loud noises, but she enjoyed some of the parade, the local community stuff coming together. And of course, we decorated our house a little bit, had some fun 4th of July decorations. And I, of course, leveraged my Hue light bulbs to have more of a red, white, and blue theme on the inside. So as it got darker, I don't know if you guys were there when those lights became prominent enough when the sun went down, because I think we left right as the sun was setting. But no, it was fun. It was nice to have you guys over, of course, and fired up the old grill, even though the grill sparkler thing was not working. I'm like, oh, well, isn't this just convenient?
Have like a campfire in your backyard just to get the grill going.
You see me out there with a little twig whittling, like, come on, come on. It's a little smoke coming out.
When's the food coming? Like, come on.
It's all good though. And of course, I always forget whenever you're grilling Franks, like it's the easiest thing in the world. Like anything that you would look at in terms of grilling, just hot dogs, you plop them on there for like 8-10 minutes and they're done and they taste great. It takes like little to no attention whatsoever, and you can just do it. And
I could just see you outside sticking a siphon in the vehicle and you're like sucking out some gas. Oh, let's get her going. Big fireball. Hey, Russ is setting off fireworks.
Well, and it's funny because I'm using with my setup, I have natural gas, and so I was like, okay, well, I have one of those little like lighters inside that you use to light candles with or whatever. I'll just use that, and you gotta be careful of that too, because if you have your gas up too high and you're like sticking that thing below the grill and you light the match, all of a sudden you might singe off some arm hairs,
some eyebrows. Yeah, I could. When you were doing that, I could smell all the propane. Like, I could smell it from where I'm sitting. Hopefully this doesn't, I'm going to stick this in here and click it a couple times. Wait, stand back a little bit.
If you thought I was bald before, let me tell you, after that, I might look like Neo from the Matrix or something.
Yeah, might look like me.
But it was fun, though. It was fun to be able to have the family come together and then also, like you said, go over and where our parents' house is actually in a pretty close proximity to where like the city was putting off their fireworks. And so instead of, like you said, instead of having to battle traffic and all the folks who are there to watch it and everything else, we could just leisurely just watch it. And of course, my daughter didn't like the noise even from that distance. And so she was in the car. She still enjoyed watching all the bright lights.
There you go.
All the colors and that sort of thing. But happy birthday to America. But anyway, what I was originally getting at before I completely digressed into that was we, during that time, I can't remember if it was the night of July 4th or it was July 3rd. I think it was July 3rd. But you and I were playing Sea of Thieves with some friends of ours, and we were up till like 4 in the morning.
Man.
You remember that?
Oh, yes, I do. I forgot what was I doing? I think I went to the gym, and I was getting my sweat on. And
get my sweat on.
So I came back to the house and be like, I'll see what's on YouTube in my place, and I'll be able to go to bed, take a shower. I don't know. And so then I get a text. It's like close to 1 a.m. And Russ goes, "Huh, Sea of Thieves?" I'm like, "Nah, this is just AT&T." Like, they sent me a text that I was supposed to receive 2 hours ago, whatever. I was disregarded. And so I was like, well, it's kind of hitting on me. I was going to text Russ back. You're like, are you awake or like, are you going to bed? Like, what? I just got this, text. I'm like, yeah, we're on. Jump on. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, usually you're the night owl when it comes to gaming. Usually I have to try and get into bed by 11:30 or midnight. But it was interesting because I was working from home on July 3rd itself. And then I actually ended up taking a nap like late afternoon. So I got like this power nap in. So then I was awake and I was just playing, and we had been playing for a few hours, and I saw you had come on, and so I was thinking, man, this is actually, I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling tired. If I go to bed now, I'm just going to be staring at the ceiling, so I might as well keep playing. But oh man, I have not stayed up that late in so long. I paid for it the next day. I was just like, whoa, I'm feeling really just far out right now. It's just bizarre. But
and then the server thing was going to shut down on us.
Have you seen that before?
No. Usually what happens is the words come up saying the world is changing and this, that, and the other is about to happen, but the servers won't close.
Right.
So this time it was like, oh, well, you guys got 30 minutes. And it was like Big Mom from Rare went and said, okay, kids, time to go to bed. I'm giving you a 30-minute timer, but we're having such a good time.
Yeah, it was interesting because at first we had sloops. We had other boats that were in the water, and we'd see them and whatever. But then slowly but surely we kind of found ourselves being alone, which actually, in my opinion, is more enjoyable because I can focus on just getting loot. I don't have to worry about getting attacked or whatever else. And
that's the spice of life right there.
Yeah, exactly. Attacked. And so it was interesting to me because I had never seen any kind of notification from Rare itself giving any kind of indication of something. And so we were actually doing quite well. We were going through, and what was it? It was like the bilge rat commendations that we were unlocking with all the skeletons with the gunpowder barrels or whatever. So we were going through that. We actually made quite a bit of good progress in that one sitting, which of course, I mean, I think I was playing for about 7 or 8 hours straight. So it's just insane. But we also got to a skull fort. We were able to get all the loot, didn't get attacked once, brought that back. So we were able to make a fair amount of money off of that as well. But then it just got surprising because we were down to like the last map with the particular skull voyage that we had activated. And suddenly it's like, oh, it'll be closing down in 30 minutes. And then every 5 minutes after that, it was like 25 minutes, 20 minutes. And I think we got to the point where we were fighting the last skull captain, and it kicked us all out back to the title screen. So we're like, no. But overall, just a really enjoyable time, I would say.
Yeah. Not bad for staying up till 4.
Yeah. I probably won't be doing that again unless I have several days off in a row or something, or I could just burn the gamer midnight oil. Mm-hmm. Did you play anything else over the week, or see anything, watch anything?
Yeah, the only thing I was really playing was so I got this new mobile game. It's Last Shelter Survival. Mm-hmm. And I saw it advertised on Facebook, and I thought, I'll give it a shot. It looks like, you're trying to make this shelter and arm it up and survive waves and upon waves of zombies. So I thought, okay, it's a free game. I'll check it out and see. And it's just like, I don't know, there's not really any action. It's just one of those kind of building games where you build buildings and you upgrade the buildings and you research this and build more. I'm like, okay, like not even what it was advertised, like whatsoever. I'm like, so yeah, I played that. I might just delete it. I mean, it's there on my one of my Androids, but no, I've been playing a lot more Bit Heroes. I'm trying to level up. They've been doing some giveaways where you get 100%, 130% experience. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing all I can with Bit Heroes. I'm almost at 150, level 150, Russ.
That's impressive. I'm so not that far along.
Yeah. So trying to upgrade my character, but yeah, that's been about it. How about you?
I have been enjoying. So going back to Sea of Thieves really quick. So my daughter has been more and more interested in watching Daddy play Sea of Thieves.
I remember this. I know. Yeah.
As well as actually wanting to play it. And so there have been times when we're on an outpost or something, and I'll just hand her the controller, and she's learning how to actually manipulate the controller to get the camera to behave the way she wants on screen and stuff. And so most of the time, I mean, it's no big thing. She's kind of like just staring at the ground or something, and she's trying to figure out what to do. But then at one point, I'm looking at my phone and she's sitting there right next to me, and I happen to just look up. She had figured out how to go into one of the merchant stores. And she not only did that, but she also figured out how to interact with the merchant. She was in like the store itself and was about to buy stuff. I'm like, how on earth did you figure that out? Because when I left her on like some beach area next to the water, I'm thinking, how did you know to do? But I mean, she's been watching Daddy play, and it was just the coolest thing. I'm just like, wow. So I had to like quickly back out of it because I didn't want her to buy all this stuff because I've been trying to save my gold.
All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Where did I put my wallet? Wait, what? My wallet's next to the Xbox. How did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Like she's like buying all this stuff off of Amazon or whatever. But other than that, though, I've been playing some Unraveled 2. I popped that in for just a little bit just to see what it's like. And I know I'm going to be enjoying that for a while. Of course, my little one likes to watch that. She wants to try and play it, but honestly, the puzzles and the brain teasers are a little just too advanced for her age.
Oh, you don't say. Yeah.
I mean, it's even challenging for this old man. So, but yeah, like just other than that, we've been having fun playing with Peggle as well. Peggle's just one of those games. If you guys have never played Peggle, it is such just a wonderfully chill game that you can just sit down. You don't have to think. You're just hitting Peggles back and forth. And of course, Peggle 2, the production values are even higher, but it's always been a staple of the Perkins household.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But other than that, I don't think we have anything else going on here. So I'd say without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our main topic of the day, which is going to be the review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. And what we'll do is we will provide our high-level reactions to the film before going into spoiler territory. But of course, let us watch the trailer just to refresh our noggins.
So, how long have you been Ant-Man again?
Not long. It just sort of happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Dr. Pym, I actually heard what happened to you. You opened up the quantum realm. That's when this crazy creepy ghost who like walks through walls and stuff. Stole your tech. And now she wants to take over the world or whatever. Who would have believed that in your hour of need, you would turn to us?
Not me.
Because we robbed you. Do you remember? That's us.
The only chance we've got is both of you.
Ant-Man and the Wasp teaming up.
Follow my lead.
She seems more intense.
You go low, I'll go high.
I have wings. Why would I go low?
We're gonna die. I don't want to die. We didn't die.
Hey, what'd I miss?
We were just tiny.
I was partners with Hank on a project called Goliath.
How big did you get?
My record, 21 feet. You?
65 feet.
65.
If you two are finished comparing sizes,
65.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, I think I'll go first this time.
Why don't you go first this time,
I think
Russ?
I will. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, high-level spoiler-free reactions here. I really like the film. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought one of the things that is very refreshing to me is, as of late, we've had a lot of Marvel movies coming out where they just get bigger and more epic, and the situation is more dire and more serious. And so this is kind of a nice switch up of sorts where we can just go in and just have a fun, lighthearted movie that introduces some new characters. It, of course, takes place in the Bay Area, which is where you and I are originally
awesome.
from.
Yeah.
It was just great seeing all the San Francisco area and whatnot. I mean, it's just sentimental feelings. But no, I really loved just the cast. What'd you say?
Home.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. Right in my ear. That was good, Russ.
Sorry, you gave me the case of the giggles and some saliva decided to say hello in my windpipe. But anyway, I thought that the cast was just really well picked. We can go into that into further detail later on. But the plot itself, it wasn't anything that was super
Hero.
memorable per se, but it was fun. Like I did like the progression of things, and it was just, I found myself just enjoying the time being in the theater. It was just one of those like fun popcorn movie type of experiences. What'd you think?
No, I definitely concur with that statement, Doctor. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is a good way to bring more people into the Marvel universe who maybe aren't so interested. Like, superhero this, superhero that, whatever. I'm superhero now, whatever. But Ant-Man's kind of like he's not really the anti-superhero, but he's not a superhero. He just has this suit, but he's a normal dude,
Right.
And nor does he try to be a superhero. He just wants to be, but the whole movie just doesn't take itself seriously.
Right.
And sometimes movies go, okay, we're going to be really serious, but we're going to force the humor on you, and they try to do all this stuff. This knows it's playing with itself. And that sounded really bad. But
Whatever do you mean, Steve?
But yeah, no, I mean, seeing all the location with San Francisco, a lot of movies just used all of the green screens and they make up their sets, but
Right.
they don't really actually go to the location. It doesn't seem like much anymore, you know? So I was really appreciative that they went there. And yeah, all the cast, man, it was, everybody just fits in this movie.
They
You
really
know?
do. Yeah.
And the humor was funny. It wasn't like crazy funny, but it was lighthearted. It was definitely entertainment. I enjoyed myself from start to finish. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, even if folks, like I said in the beginning, if you don't really like Marvel, but you're looking for a nice little action comedy where it's not intense and it just has a lot of fun, then I definitely think you should go. Even if it was a matinee, you're going to get some laughs.
So there you go. If you haven't seen it, I think it's fair to say that we both recommend that you guys go check it out because it is a fun movie indeed. Steve, step with me into the spoiler elevator here. I noticed your insect super suit is looking quite lovely.
Actually, I have a couple canisters of Raid on me, Russ.
Oh, that's not nice.
What's your favorite ant? Do you like the black ants, the worker ants, the red ants, the fire ants?
You know, I have an affinity for the black ants because they are much more chill. They're just happy to work and do their thing, mind their own business.
You know what kind of ants have wings, Russ?
I am unfamiliar with the actual technical term or name.
Yeah.
Do you?
Negative, Ghost Rider. You know, they did change the music in this elevator every once in a while, you know?
Nonsense. Here's our floor. Now that we are at the subatomic level, we are now in the spoiler area of the review. So if you haven't seen the movie, we definitely encourage you to pause it and go check it out and come back, of course, and listen to what we have to yak about. Anyway, I would like to go into the cast here. Now Paul Rudd is he's always been a fun actor for me to be able to watch. In all the movies I've ever seen him in, I really dig his sense of humor. I love his comedic timing and just he's such an accessible personality type.
That's a good word
in
for it.
films. And I think in terms of like the Ant-Man movies themselves, like I think he's a perfect choice to play Scott Lang. And of course, we have the newcomer, Evangeline Lilly, who plays Hope Van Dyne, aka the Wasp, who again, I mean, she
Well, she was in the first one.
she was in the first one. I should clarify in terms of like having another like superhero type uniform character presence. This was the new addition in the second film, but yeah, she definitely was in the first film. But I mean, and she too, like, just, I dig her look. She has a really cool look about her.
Yeah.
And,
It's like that strong feminine look.
yeah, but not overly so,
Right.
but just it has that determined kind of look to it, which is really cool. And her personality is really cool too. Just even though we're watching more of a character persona in the film, still like it just works great. And the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly it's just really natural to me in the films. And I thought it was just great because, of course, Paul Rudd is always just, he has these fun little quips or a little one-off anecdote kind of things and stuff. And she likes to get him back on track and that sort of thing. But, of course, Michael Pena is in it. And man, he was also just a gem in the film too.
Yeah,
like
he was.
He just delivered each one of those lines perfectly.
Yeah.
Added a nice variety to just the different personality types and just even the speech patterns. Like I loved how he was just talking so fast. He would talk in these very quick bursts.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun.
I think that was probably the funniest part of the movie when he went back when they they made really light humor of the truth serum. And it's like, no, there's no such thing as truth serum. He was like, oh man, there's truth serum. And then he tells that story so fast. And
all the actors were like
had like the same movements and like had the same like
same
attitude.
body language and the way the way they would talk matched like how fast he would talk.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of the high
funny.
points of the movie for sure. And actually, one of my other favorite actors, Walton Goggins, was in it. He's the one who played Sonny. He was kind of the black market illegal arms dealer type.
Yeah, he's always kind of a bad guy, it seems like in films.
He does tend to play more of the bad guys, but he has played some neutral characters and even some protagonists as well. But I love his style. Like, I love how he delivers his lines and just the pacing of what he does with his mannerisms and stuff. It's always a treat to me to see him in there. And it was cool because it wasn't like he was in the movie too much, but he was in there enough to establish some kind of presence. What were you going to say?
The last movie I saw him in, I think, was Shanghai Noon.
Man, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago, but I'm trying to think. The last movie, what was that guy in?
You probably didn't watch the TV show Sons of Anarchy.
No.
Yeah, he was in that one for a bit. And I think he may have been in the recent Tomb Raider movie. See, we never saw the Tomb Raider movie that came out this year.
Yeah, it's on my Netflix list.
Yeah. But anyway, of course, Lawrence Fishburne was in the film as well.
When I saw that, I've seen the trailer obviously, but I forgot the part where Lawrence Fishburne was in it. Mm-hmm. And so when the scene came when he was in the classroom speaking and the camera was behind his head, I'm like, you know what, that looks like the back of Lawrence Fishburne's head. And I don't know why, but it would be really cool if that was Lawrence Fishburne as the professor in this movie. That'd be really cool. And the camera turned around, I'm like, it is Lawrence Fishburne. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was really fun. And I'm glad to see that he's coming into more films lately. Like, he kind of took a break after the whole Matrix trilogy thing, and he, you see him every once in a while, but I mean, it really wasn't until I think it was, what was that? It's around the tip of my tongue. It's the Keanu Reeves movie where he's an assassin that came out recently.
Keanu Reeves is in the Matrix also.
John Wick. Lawrence Fishburne was in the sequel, John Wick Chapter 2. And so it was cool to see them kind of get back together again. And he's playing obviously a different character, but seeing Lawrence Fishburne return to the silver screen in that fashion was really cool. And then of course seeing him here in Ant-Man The Wasp. But I think there was also another movie that he was recently in.
Well, he's in his own little TV show. It's called Black-ish.
Okay.
And that's been going since 2014.
Okay, so probably his commitment has been mostly to the TV show.
Right.
But anyway, it was cool to see him in there. Also, Hannah John-Kamen, who played Ava, a.k.a. Ghost, she was kind of the main antagonist of the movie up until the very end there. I don't know if I've seen her in other roles.
She played in Tomb Raider. I looked her up. She was in Tomb Raider, which we have yet to see.
Okay.
She was also in Ready Player One.
She was in Ready Player One?
Yeah, she was. I forgot the character's name. Finale.
I don't remember.
Xandor or something like that.
I only saw the movie one time, but I don't recall seeing her in there.
Yeah, and she was also.
Oh wait, I take it back. She was probably kind of like She worked for the corporation that was trying to take over, right? Like,
I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that.
She was like one of the main dude's lieutenants or something. I think that may be who she played.
And then folks would also recognize her in Game of Thrones or Nella.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
onwards. Also, I think it's important to note that Michelle Pfeiffer
made
a return.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible.
It really was.
They didn't show Michelle Pfeiffer in the trailer, right?
Correct.
I don't know. I was so thankful because when she came on screen, I haven't seen Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know what she's been in. I mean, I think the last movie I saw her in, it was the movie with Harrison Ford. It was kind of a PG-13. Kind of a thriller. I forgot what it was called. I have to look it up. Anyway, I haven't seen her in a long time. She looks incredible.
She is the type of lady where you just look at her and you're like, I mean, and I don't even know how old she is now.
Yeah, I can find out here.
But my goodness, it's like she's always been just beautiful, just this beautiful lady. And of course, I'm a big fan of hers when she was
60.
She's 60. Yeah, I figured it was probably around that. Of course, when she was playing Catwoman in Batman Returns, awesome performance.
Yeah, incredible.
It was just amazing. Like just everyone who has seen that movie, obviously she's one of the highlights of that film. And she's been in other films since that time as well. But she has also kind of toned down the amount of films that she has been in as of late. So it was a treat to be able to see her in this film.
What Lies Beneath? That's the movie I saw her with Harrison
I never
Ford.
saw that movie.
Yeah, that was back in 2000. But no, she brought her A game to this movie. I don't know if it was just me loving to see Michelle Pfeiffer on screen, but I thought her acting for just the Ant-Man and the Wasp, for crying out loud, was incredible. Seeing her with Michael Douglas, man.
Well, and it goes to show, I mean, even Michael Douglas is always fun to watch, especially in this type of capacity where in the past, when he was younger, he took on more of a leading role. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, he plays more of a supportive role.
Right.
And it's a neat character for him to get into. Yeah. Because obviously, I mean, he's older now. He can't do a lot of the more like intense action scenes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, he did back in the day.
Yeah. So it's cool to see this neat opportunity for him to be able to show this other side of his acting and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, when he delivers his lines, it's always just right on point. So it's cool to. I for one am glad to see more of the talent pool that has aged a bit from when we were kids. Because when we were kids, like they were more like in their 30s and 40s, that sort of thing. And you fast forward 20 to 30 years, suddenly they're in this other age bracket. But it's nice that Hollywood is, and especially Marvel Studios, is bringing back this age group of actors because they're just as good, if not better.
Oh man, they're talented. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just super talented. So like, for instance, like, Michael Keaton was used in Spider-Man Homecoming. He was the Vulture, and it was awesome seeing him back in the roles again. And he's been in other roles, outside of Marvel Studios as well. But then of course, seeing Michael Douglas still acting, having Michelle Pfeiffer come back. It's great to bring these folks back because they have tremendous presence on screen.
You said Michael Keaton. That means I have to digress into the Dumbo preview because we saw that, and that, I don't know, that preview gave me goosebumps. Yes. I know that sounds weird because it's a kids movie, but I mean, when I saw Tim Burton, I'm like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've seen a good Tim Burton film. I am in the mood for a good Tim Burton film, and of course, Danny DeVito in there, and that was Michael Keaton, right? I mean, there was a. Yeah. Man, that movie looks so good. I can't wait till that one comes out.
Yeah, I'm glad that you actually brought that up just because I mean, we're both huge fans of just really well done trailers. Even if the movie winds up not being as good, it's just there's to me there's a certain kind of magic that the editors have when they're putting together. Obviously they're having to figure out, okay, how can we market this movie in such a way that it starts to build the hype and the intrigue and just how do we represent the film without giving away too many spoilers or plot points or whatever it is. And so when you come across a trailer like Dumbo, because I totally agree, by the end of that trailer, I was like, man, this is a really well done trailer considering the fact that this is a children's story.
Yeah.
And everything about the film just looks fantastic. I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, as I know you are as well. It's terrific to see him. And he's really been doing more of these Disney-esque films. I'm trying to think of the other one. I know he did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is not, I mean, that wasn't made by Disney.
Right.
But I feel like there was another Disney film that he had a hand in or something. But anyway... It was really cool. Dumbo looked amazing.
That was, I mean, compared to all the other previews, maybe that Jack Black one looked okay. But everything else that they showed, I was like, this is all passable. Then Dumbo came on, and I didn't think I was going to goosebumps at this. This trailer is nuts.
It really is. And the Jack Black, I can't remember what the Jack Black trailer, or excuse me, the name of the Jack Black
about the
movie.
Clock in the Wall, something like that.
Yeah, it had a very long name. Yeah. And actually, the first half of that trailer, again, we're totally digressing off of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but still, like the first half of the trailer was really good, but I felt like the trailer lasted too long. It started to lose its steam. Yep. And so the second half, you're kind of like, okay, like you had me initially, and now I'm kind of like, Yeah. But I mean, Jack Black, again, you can't go wrong with Jack Black. He's always real fun, and he really gets into the characters. So moving on into the plot of Ant-Man and the Wasp, by all intents and purposes, I think that the plot was rather simplistic. It really, like I said earlier in the program, it really didn't have any kind of like huge, epic, dire situation or consequences or whatever, which is not a bad thing. I think it's refreshing to have something that's a bit more smaller scale.
Right.
Be able to provide more opportunities to introduce various characters. And I don't know, I really liked how they were making it a point to further the relationships that were left off at the end of the first Ant-Man movie into this new one, be able to see just, again, like the Michelle Pfeiffer character, as well as the Ghost character, Lawrence Fishburne's character, how his past impacted a bit with Michael Douglas's character, and the antagonist, the Ava character herself. I like the setup of her motivation.
Yeah.
She wasn't just an antagonist or an evil character just to be evil or whatever.
Right.
It was like she had a desperate need in order to live.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like she was all about like, look, like I've had this condition for a long time. It's getting more and more unstable. And of course she had this devastating traumatic event that occurred back when she was a little girl, when she lost her parents and that sort of thing. And so there's a lot going on in there. And the entire time that she was on screen, I mean, I thought she had a really good presence, and it never felt to me cliche.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm a little bit torn with it. I liked the story that they made with her. I thought she was kind of a weak villain, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I thought it was very interesting, and I need to pause for one moment for the plot though. When they start building it up in the beginning about what the story is going to be, whatnot, I kind of thought they left some parts out. I was trying because they started telling you or refreshing your memory about what had happened in Ant-Man 1 and then what happened in Civil War, and then therefore this is what's up with Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I'm trying to think back to, I mean, I just saw Ant-Man 1 not too long ago, but I was trying to think back to Civil War. Like, I don't remember what Ant-Man was saying to Michael Douglas's character and the Wasp. Like, I don't know why they were so upset. It didn't make sense to me even in Civil War. I forgot what even happened with him. I just thought, Falcon says, "Oh, I know a guy," and he grabbed him, and there he is. I didn't hear all the backstory. So when they were catching this up, I thought, this doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that you hadn't seen Ant-Man before that, because I remember you were asking, like, who is this guy? I'm like, oh, that's right, you haven't seen that movie yet.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was Ant-Man. I just didn't know the whole entire story. But anyway, fast forwarding to the villain. I can definitely appreciate the villain who's just not out to hurt anybody just because I'm evil. I'm going to hurt you. It's this intersection of motivations. This side wants to get technology for this purpose. The other side needs the technology and for this other purpose, and both are dire, and there's only one way to go, and how are you going to make it both work? And
you have certain parallels where like both motivations revolve around survival.
Right. Yeah. So
and again, it was just like, it was a fun ride to just get to know these other characters. I mean, and I really liked being able to go to these different locales, like within the Bay Area. I loved how they were in Muir Woods, because we've gone to Muir Woods so many times. And of course, I think they went to like Lombard Street, excuse me.
Yeah.
I was thinking Lombardi's Deli.
Yeah. And like the crooked road all the way down. That was awesome.
And of course, they had the Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah. Yeah. With the ferries and stuff. I was like, clam chowder.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed the relationship between Lawrence Fishburne's character and Ghost. In fact, I'm going to look up what Lawrence is. Oh, Dr. Bill Foster. So I liked how they were going back and forth. Where one of my favorite moments in the movie actually was when Ava was talking to Dr. Foster about going to get Ant-Man's daughter, and how he really just put the pause on that and was like, whoa, I'm willing to help you, but if you lay a finger on her, I will no longer help you, because that is a zone that do not need to go into. That's a road I cannot follow you on.
Yeah.
And I really like that because typically in a lot of these action movies, that's kind of the go-to, right? Is like,
Exactly.
I've got your family hostage.
Yeah.
You better do what I say. But I liked how, once again, there was more of this gray area between the characters where clearly Dr. Foster had this, he had this desire to want to try and help Ava and treat her and get this issue of hers resolved, but do so in a way that wouldn't necessarily
Harm others.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And I think so often in Hollywood, they fall towards like, okay, well, this professor or this scientist had a falling out with the other scientist and they're still pissed off at each other and therefore they're going to be enemies for life.
Yeah.
Life's not like that. I mean, you guys move past it. You can find where areas where you agree. And that's exactly what this was. Like this professor has found a way to help somebody else and do his research at the same time. But he's not out to hurt anybody at the same, which I was very appreciative that they showed that little bit because that would have been the easy road. Oh, just like you said, he's got a daughter. We're going to kidnap her, and that's going to be, come on, that's been way overdone.
It has, and I like the moments of humor to break more of the serious tensions, like when his daughter was calling him when Ghost had them all tied up in the chairs, and they had to go through the whole thing.
Yeah,
and trying
the video
to find
chat.
her. Yeah.
but it made sense. I mean, it would have been weird if it was a major villain, like, okay, fine, I'll do Skype. But it made sense because he was the teacher. He's dealt with a lot of kids in his life. He gets it. He goes, it just made sense. But I'm glad they showed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that approach to everything. And I like what you were talking about too. I liked the rough friction between Michael Douglas and Lawrence Fishburne in terms of how they used to work together. And then there was a falling out of sorts where Michael Douglas fired Lawrence Fishburne and there was still a wealth of talent and whatnot there, but there was kind of like this bitter blood between the two of them. And, there was just a lot there that, again, it wasn't like this amazing overall thing, but still it was just fresh. It was just a fun kind of story to be told. And
even towards the end where Michael Douglas is about to go to the quantum realm and he's telling Lawrence Fishburne's character, look, I'm going to help you. Yeah. I get what you're trying to do and it's, not to harm anybody else, but due to the dire situation, I need you to back up because this is life and death for me too. And he backed up. Wasn't like he tried something at the last minute, gonna get back at him. So the whole entire, and it kept me guessing too because I thought, something's gonna happen between Lawrence Fishburne. He's gonna try and do something because I'm so used to that happening. That this was so refreshing for it to take a different route.
It was. So pivoting over to the special effects of the movie, this movie is always fun. Like first movie was just as the second, but I love the opportunities that are made available when you shrink down to just like ant size, for instance, just because everything around you, the world, it's just so funny to see like what would be terrifying if you were that small is actually not a big deal when you look at it from our perspective at our scale. And a lot of it, I don't know, that's kind of more of the scientific side of things is just always fun. Like the salt shaker where like she like pushed that salt shaker and then made it like as huge, large as a human. I don't know, like there's a lot of opportunity there for creativity and just showcasing things that oftentimes we take for granted and just looking at something I mean, it's one of those things where like you take something and you change the size of it and suddenly it's amazing how your whole perception of that object changes. Like having that huge corporate building turn into the size of like a travel suitcase you would see at an airport. I don't know. Like I think that those types of things are,
or having a seagull inbound trying to eat you.
That actually was really funny too.
That was awesome.
When he named the ant Antonio Banderas, so they got eaten. He's like, oh no! And then
he kept on calling more and more. They kept like getting eaten by seagulls because there's so many seagulls at Fisherman's Wharf. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Although, and I wasn't aware that seagulls even ate ants.
Yeah, I think they need to eat whatever they can. I mean, they're kind of scavengers in a way, but if there's a bug and it's easy to eat, they're gonna get a snack.
And of course, it's always fun too when Ant-Man grows to be like just super big and everything else. But a lot of the action sequences too, like with the Wasp when she was shrinking down and expanding again, you you could really see the value of having some sort of ability like that in fighting situations where like you can get really big, you can get really small, and just constantly changing that. It's going to put your adversary kind of at odds in terms of how they're going to strategize to take you down, which was really cool. Like even in that sequence where she was flying in to one of the villain's cars and would like just bash through the window and then get really small and then bunk back up to her normal size and hit some people and then fly forward being super small again. And I don't know, like it was always fun to see like just what kind of size adjusting would be going on throughout each scene.
Yeah. Although I think the fighting sequences could have been a little bit better. It seemed like it was a little bit kind of like Spider-Man-y in a way. I don't know. Because the Wasp taught Ant-Man everything he knows about martial arts. So I would think since it was the master now that it would have been a lot cooler. And it definitely upped the ante from Ant-Man 1, but I was hoping it'd be a little stronger. That not necessarily is a bad thing because it was still fun. And I think if they tried to change it into a martial arts movie, it would have been kind of lame. But I think it lacked a little bit of kick.
There was an awful lot of kicking in the movie.
I will say that the villain, the ghost, kind of reminded me of The Matrix 2 with the twins.
Yes,
a little bit too
I thought
much.
of that as well.
Yeah. So
What did you think of the visual effects overall?
they were fine. I don't think they were anything to write home about, but I think they were fine. They weren't bad at all.
I was just remembering another scene. I love the moment in the elementary school where they're trying to find his daughter's trophy, and his suit malfunctions. So he's at the size of a little kid, and he puts on the little blue sweatshirt, and they're like, "Hey, do you have a hall pass?" And the kid just kind of stops there for a moment and keeps running.
Yeah, I think it would have been funny if they played that out a little bit, like if some bully was trying to, or if it was a bully that was bugging his daughter, for example, and then like, he was able to step up a little bit. I think that would have been cool. They played that, I think, a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
I also loved it too when he got super big in the Fisherman's Wharf, and I don't know why I laugh, but it's just the funniest. I love how Paul Rudd has his voice respond how big he is. Like you see his face coming up in his eyes, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
Like just I don't know. I love how he does that. But
And what's interesting too is they don't make all the crowd afraid of him.
right.
Like even you would see this 60-foot dude, you'd be scared, but because it's Paul Rudd and it's Ant-Man, like if you saw Thor or even like Captain America or Iron Man be that tall, you'd be like, oh, nuts. Oh, hell's about to break loose. But because it's Ant-Man, everyone's like, whoa, hey, but no one's scared because it's Ant-Man. He just like flicks certain stuff away like someone's gun or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny. I'm wondering, Russ, if they're going to make the Lawrence Fishburne character come back, maybe in the next Avengers movie, because if I'm not mistaken, Goliath, his character was somebody in the Marvel Universe, not just like, oh yeah, I did this at one point in my life. I think they might actually bring him back, right?
It's entirely possible. I think that when Marvel Studios plans their films out, a lot of the characters that they have in there are not by happenstance. I think that they definitely have certain strategies for each character as to how they want them to continue their character arcs and bring them more into the fold. And I would imagine probably most of the characters, if not all the characters, do exist in some form within the comic books. But actually, another actor who I really enjoyed was Randall Park, who he played the FBI agent who was kind of the youth minister as well on his downtime.
That was funny.
Yeah, he was really fun. And again, he he was in the film just enough where it was like, yeah, I'm glad it wasn't just like a one-off scene. Like it was actually he was living in San Francisco and everything else, and it was, I don't know, I thought that was a nice addition to the film. But costume wise, of course, the outfits are awesome. I found myself thinking, man, like it'd be cool to like be Ant-Man for Halloween, just because the suit itself is so fun. But I don't know of anyone who are wardrobe stylists in that capacity. Like you'd
have to order something that's like $1,000 off Amazon.
I'm going to have to do a search on Instagram because I do know, I mean, there are certain very talented costume designers that don't work in Hollywood, but they see what is done and they're able to really emulate with pretty amazing accuracy the same type of costumes that you would see in some of these kind of comic book oriented films. But I've always liked Ant-Man's outfit. I thought it's always fun. I think the helmet is really fun as well. I thought the Wasp's outfit was really cool too. And I liked her yellow kind of visor on the top and stuff. And yeah, I just thought all that worked really well. And even Ava's costume when she was Ghost moving around and whatnot, I thought it was pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me of some anime or something in a way, but no, overall, I thought it worked nicely.
You know, something they didn't do with the Wasp is with her wings. Mm-hmm. She never flew or used her wings when she was in like full regular mode, not shrunken down. It was always like she was flying around when she was small.
That's true. Yeah. Probably because it would draw too much attention if she was her normal size. You know, if she's like 5'9" or something and she's flying around, obviously people are going to be seeing, oh my gosh, there's a person flying with wings. Like it's
but I mean, she's kicking people across the room. I mean, she's getting enough attention as it is.
Yeah. I could. Well, see in those sequences too. Like if you're like inside somewhere, I think it'd be difficult to fly. Versus if you were outside.
Yeah,
but. Did you have any other comments before we go into the trivia?
No, go ahead, Russ.
Well, alrighty then. We'll go into movie trivia, courtesy of IMDb, before we give our final thoughts. Not a ton in the trivia department, but there are some that are some fun ones to go over. This movie was announced 3 months after the original Ant-Man of 2015 was released, and due to Marvel's packed Phase 3 lineup, they had to move the release dates of Black Panther and Captain Marvel, which is pretty. I didn't know that they had announced it that quickly after the first Ant-Man.
I think it was. I mean, the preview had been playing for a while. Yeah, not only. Yeah, it's been playing for a while. I didn't think it was that soon though.
For the role of Janet Van Dyne, Evangeline Lilly, who of course is Janet's daughter Hope, had Michelle Pfeiffer on her wish list to play Janet, and Michael Douglas, Janet's husband Hank, had expressed the desire to have his actual real-world wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, play Janet. So I thought that was a little insightful there.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly, I think Catherine Zeta-Jones may have done a good job as well.
True, yeah.
In the trailer's soundtrack, the higher pitch guitar chords that repeat are the riffs from a song named Ants Invasion by Adam and the Ants. This marks the second MCU film after Thor Ragnarok to have a female as the leading antagonist. However, in the comic books, the Ghost was male.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the comics, the Ghost has never fought Ant-Man.
What?
Yeah, the Ghost actually fought against Iron Man.
Interesting.
This next one I actually noticed, but I thought maybe I just missed it for some reason. The film's title is never shown on screen until the credits.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah, I guess so. Huh? The movie did start like really quick.
It did.
I thought, whoa, we're already in it. All right. But I was expecting, yeah, I guess so.
Agent Jimmy Woo, who's the FBI, I don't know if he's the director, but he's just an agent, in the comics, formed the Agents of Atlas, a superhero spy team. This sets up the Agents of Atlas in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So once again, another character that seemingly is just part of the supportive cast, but actually does exist in the Marvel comics and has a very good chance of continuing into something a bit more involved. So we'll have to see how that works out. And the final one that I thought was worthy of mention was this film takes place at the same time as Avengers Infinity War, and mid-credit scene shows the implications of it, which we haven't discussed yet. But of course, at the end, there's kind of like this little mini version of the quantum tunnel or whatever it is. And so Ant-Man goes in to collect some of the, I don't even know what it is.
Healing particles
of something or other. And of course, he's waiting to be kind kind of, I don't know what it is, just
drawn back out.
Yeah, drawn back out into the real world again. But he's actually stuck into this area because when the camera cuts back, we have seen that the Wasp, Michael Douglas's character, and Michelle Pfeiffer have all turned to dust. Just because, or ash is probably a better way of saying it, because these events were transpiring right around the time of the Infinity War, which I have got to say that was most satisfying. That was a really cool way to end it.
Yeah, I don't know if we were the only ones in the theater going, "Oh man," or not, but it sounded like that, and I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure if other people had made the connection in the theater or not. I'm not exactly sure, but I, for one, really, really enjoyed that. And I also like, too, how at the end it said the Ant-Man and the Wasp will return with a question mark at the end instead of a period.
Yeah. And it was funny because I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm like, okay, we'll return. And I had to rub my eye. And then everybody went, oh, no. I'm like, what did I miss? What did I miss? Like, it was a question mark. Like, oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, the period actually turned into a question mark, which was pretty cool. So
it makes me wonder if the Ghost is going to be also in the next Avengers movie. Because if they're trying to help her out, then she's basically a good guy.
I think there's probably a very good chance we're going to see her make a return somewhere. It may not necessarily be in part 2 of Infinity War, but I do think that there is a good chance that we will see her return again, especially considering that Michelle Pfeiffer's character healed her, and so she no longer had that issue, or at least
healed her somewhat.
Healed her to the point where she was much better. I mean, like maybe she had some shimmers here and there, that sort of thing, but she was definitely not as unstable as she was throughout the rest of the film. By the way, what did you think of her meaning Michelle Pfeiffer's character? What did you think of her powers? Like that? I remember my wife kind of leaned over when Michael Douglas rescued her, and she said something to the effect of how she doesn't think that Michelle Pfeiffer's character is all that she is supposed to be, or something like that. And sure enough, like when she was back into the real world and at a natural size, that she definitely has some kind of like healing abilities.
Well, she was definitely able to survive for 30 years in the quantum realm somehow, and not, I don't know, finding something to eat. How do you live for that long in the quantum
I had that same question too. It's like, you've been in there for how long, and how have you been able to survive? And especially watching how Michael Douglas started to really lose his mind after getting that small and seeing how he was succumbing to the environment, which was really cool because you could see like how, I mean, with him struggling like that, she must have really gone through a lot of that as well. And for her to be able to keep it together for as long as she did, I'm very curious to hear more about how she was able to make that possible.
How she was able to channel E.T.
Ouch. Ouch.
Oh, man.
So in conclusion, once again, I think it was just a fun movie. It wasn't like some sort of huge tentpole film, but I don't think they intended it to be that way anyway. I think that everybody who was in the film were cast perfectly, and I think that the special effects were fun. A lot of the kind of the more humorous side of things to the fighting. You had some moments that were a bit more intense than others, and you also had some action sequences that are a bit more creative and a bit more just funny in their own kind of way. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how Ant-Man is able to escape, because I'm sure there will be a way for him to be able to get out of the quantum realm, or whatever it is that they call it. But it was definitely a nice cliffhanger to leave him in that situation. I would say for me, I would give the film 3.5 stars.
Well, Russ, 3.5, you say? Well, I'm going to up the ante. I'll give it a 4.
Oh!
I think the movie was very welcomed and well received. Like I said, it did its function, which is provide very lighthearted and good entertainment from start to finish. I think the pacing was a little off in the beginning with them trying to catch you up with the story that had happened, and with 2 other movies that you kind of had to see to understand the beginning. Mm-hmm. Either way, it's a sequel, so that kind of has to be done. But I loved all the cast. I couldn't pick one character who I thought, that could have been replaced. Even with the surprises of how much they showed with Lawrence Fishburne and with Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, I loved everybody on screen. I thought the fighting could have been better. It wasn't terrible, like I said, but it definitely was lacking a little bit of spice, a little bit of a little something, panache. I loved all the locale. I mean, seeing San Francisco and them actually being there, not just having green screen here, green screen there. I thought that was awesome. It was great to have some lighthearted laughs. It wasn't hysterical, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And I can definitely appreciate it. And especially since we have, a serious Marvel film with a little bit of forced humor. This was very, like I said in the beginning, very well received. So I would definitely see it again. I definitely want a third Ant-Man for sure. And they're doing a great job with all the casting and the story and the lightheartedness. So I definitely want to see a third Ant-Man for sure.
Well, there you have it. That wraps up this episode of Joygasm. Make sure you tune in next week, as I'm sure we will have some other fun little tidbits to talk about. Thanks for hanging out with us this week, though. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to check out patreon.com/Joygasm and pledge $1 a month for exclusive access and early access to the show. Also, you can follow us on social media and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.com/JoygasmTV. Last but not least, search Joygasm TV on Twitch to see us stream our gaming adventures live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll see you next week. Peace.